a program team to midwife or to help you deliver the idea into the world of business. There are some people that will come around you. Their role and their function is to help you deliver the business. They're not going to run it for you. They're not going to help you operate it. They're just there to help you deliver the business. I know a lot of people here, a lot of ladies here with children. You don't even remember the people that were in the room when you gave birth to your first child or your second child, right? Okay, maybe with ladies it's different because they remember everything. But I think you know what I mean, right? You all understand what I mean. There are some people that are program partners. They are not, the program that they are on is to help you give birth to the business. They'll help you with the business plan. That businessman that you sat down with, he's not going to run your business for you. You don't have to keep going back to him. Hey, so now I have broken 10,000 RTGS in sales. So now my taxes. You don't have to. Once the business is born, you're up and away. You need a different team that's going to help you. There's a good book, I can't remember the author, but he talks about changing the person who's holding your ladder. Does anybody know that book? Mr. Jonah would know it. Pity he stepped out. He talks about holding your ladder. Who's holding your ladder? You need different people to hold different types of ladders, depending on the height, the shape, the style. There are some people that appear in your life just to help you give birth to the business. They include, but are not limited to, skilled and experienced people, funders, technology providers. I think we heard about that earlier on. Landowners, people that own land or own property, landlords. They help you to deliver a business. They will send the lift down. People running a similar business, I do that a lot. If somebody's running a similar business, I will look for a friend and I say, all my network of friends, I say, do you know somebody who's doing pigs? And they'll say, yeah, talk to Curtis Van Rooyen, talk to Peter Smiles, talk to Mpanazita. And I will sit with those people. They are just there to help me deliver the business. And a lot of these people will give you information for free. I've been surprised how willing people are. If you want to start, say, no, I just want to see, I'm thinking of putting a piggery in Plumtree, and I thought you might help me. Oh, come and see. You know, this is what I do. And they will give you, they are there just to help you give birth to the business, bring the business to pass. Prove your idea through experiments on a small scale to avoid big losses. The best business is a perfectly scalable one. That's just a word that says that if I can start with $100 and go from 100 to 500 to from 500 to 1,000, that's a perfectly scalable business. Some businesses you cannot do that. You need 30,000 US to start them. That's a business that is not scalable, not perfectly scalable. They say it's chunky. That's the business school language. You have to do it in steps. 30,000, then from 30,000, you need 500,000 to stay in that business. Especially sectors like ours, manufacturing. Whereas trading businesses, usually they're perfectly scalable. You can start with $100 and go all the way to 500,000 and everything in between. Surround yourselves with encouragers. You need encouragement. Make sure you're in an encouraging fellowship, not in a deflating one where they preach money only. That's not very encouraging. You walk into a service, money. I mean, I need money. Now I'm being made to feel guilty that I can't give. It's getting quiet. So I'm going to be... Negative characters will suck out energy from you. You need encouragers around you. Why? Because business people need lots of encouragement. Surround yourself with friends that are identifiable. Don't let your encouragement be accidental. It must be intentional. You must intentionally assemble. There are some people that I call and say, man, I've had a day from hell. And they will answer and say, hey, no. If there's anyone who can handle that, it's you. Moyo, you're the best of us. I say, thank you, sir. Have a good night. And I'm encouraged. You need to start. Business is, because there are lots of obstacles, there are lots of things that will come your way. You need to surround yourself with encouragers. Look for people who are running the same race. You know, if somebody is satisfied, especially people who are complacent, I've got it there. There's some people that are very comfortable. Are not even. Very comfortable. You need people that have that, you know, hey, we've got to get going. Gee, we're falling behind. I want to be with people like that. Because they keep me on my toes. It's me that will do well. From staying engaged, staying sharp, staying on top of my game. So it's important to surround yourself. Beware of the lazy and complacent. Those are big enemies. Especially Lapa Gobla, you have to be careful. Can't do some money. Good job, nice job. Emanda. Kanti usweleni supesuka sudingana udingani. That's a big enemy because I've been through that. Some of my friends said, Moyo, what are you come on, do you know? Say, hey Baba, what God put inside me, you might not have any idea. You think this is the finish line? This is the beginning. And I'm not being arrogant. I'm just saying that this is from what God said to me, this is where I'm starting. This is how the story begins, not how it ends. So, but don't argue. Don't argue. Just leave them. Just understand that not everybody is going to understand the scale, the size of what you're thinking. Proof of sales is the most important part of any business plan. Your business will die if you don't have, or if it doesn't have a revenue line. You need a revenue line. Proving sales is the most important part. I've met many people say, please can you mentor me in business? Please can you do this for my business plan? The most important part, do you have a sales line? Do you have sales? Because without sales, a business dies. You are in business for sales. You must be able to sell. Some businesses are seasonal. Yes, if you're in agriculture, it's a seasonal business, but it must have a sales line. And you must be able to prove. And this is what the banks are looking for, by the way. They are looking for proof of sales. That's what it's called. Proof of sales. Can you prove sales? It's better to go in and walk into the bank and say, I've sold 5 of these. And I think I can sell 1,000. Than to say, I've got this great idea. How many of you sold? None. Proof of sales. The most important part of any business plan is proving that you have a sales line. Now we can debate about how fast you will grow it, but you have it. Most banks, especially in Zimbabwe, they do not like idea financing. They want to fund something that's already there. They are not very keen. Avoid the big man syndrome. Be humble and be ready to sacrifice. Folk in Africa, you give them a loan for 100,000, 90,000 is for the Prado. That's how much it costs. 90,000 goes, 10,000 is for the business. Because you want to be big. If you are thinking of that, get a nice plush job, use somebody else's money to buy a product. That's just a piece of advice. Because companies are willing to do that. And you can do it with someone else's money. Your money, if it's your money, make sure you use it for the business. Especially if you spend time and you know you got a big idea. Avoid the big man syndrome. Most young people get into this trap. You don't need a fancy suit. You don't have to have a fancy suit. Go and buy a cheap Chinese one and do business. It's fine. Nobody, the challenge we've had is we have admired people who are corrupt, who are stealing money, whose wealth cannot be traced. And so we think that when we get into business, we must match them. We are under pressure. I want to set you free. You are a businessman. you are going to be here long after the corrupt are gone. So do this like you are doing it for life. Do this like you are doing it for 4 generations. Let's not get into the trap. Fortunately, we don't. When I give these talks in Harare, my biggest warning to my friends is be careful of the pressure to keep up with the Joneses. You don't have to have a Louis Vuitton bag. You don't have to have Jimmy Choo. We don't even know. Tina, we don't notice. It's you ladies that notice your handbag. We don't care. Life moves on. After all, you get another one. You know, it's waste, all that stuff. But your business will be unto the 3rd and the 4th generation. I think it's worth investing in. I think it's worth sacrificing for. Okay. Know your costs. These ones are obvious. Keep abreast with funding options throughout the life of the business. Oh, I had some sources of funding here. Where do you get money from? People always ask me this question. But where do you get money? I've saved you the question. Where does money come from? Personal savings. You can save up. Stay in your job until you've saved enough to start your business. Okay? Family, friends, and fools. That's where you get money from. Grant funding, crowdfunding. All these are modern methods. This one on number 6, we are coming to the city in September with the Business Angels Network that we're working, and you know, lots of people have volunteered. Since I said this, somebody caught it, put it online. Now I've had lots of volunteers to help. There's a gentleman somewhere in Switzerland who is involved with the Business Angel Network, has offered himself to give us all the documentation on how to set this up. So in September, look out for that. I would like to come with a few people that I'm inviting to the city to come and increase our options. Because no society has grown without a vibrant financial services sector. It becomes just all that much more difficult. Okay. This is my last one. Keep growing and don't quit. You can go from an idea to a registered business to a home-based business, from a home-based business. A home-based business is a big business in South Africa. I think the stats were saying something like 30 to 40% of the businesses in South Africa are home-based. You know, so don't be embarrassed. Don't rush to have an office and start to pay rent. You know, you can do it from home. Home-based business. Business with premises. That's the next level. Employing business. That's the next one. Market leader in the industry. Regional business. Global business. Now, in this day and age, you can go from home-based to a global business because now you have e-business. You can put stuff on Amazon. So you can leapfrog and skip all these stages. That's the beautiful thing about our generation. I've seen people developing apps, and the apps go all over, you know, and people can interact and transact on those apps. So perhaps I can chance one slide, then I end. We talk about Bulawayo, and then we look at where opportunities are in Bulawayo. And this is the presentation that I share with as many people as I can find. And this spider has 10 legs, not 8. So it's a bit unconventional. But we have lots of opportunities around the city. And one of the low-hanging ones is tourism and culture, I believe. One area. Anybody from the tourism sector or who's worked in the tourism sector here? Put up your hand boldly. All right, wonderful. Tourism, big opportunity for the city. Because we host a lot of historic sites. But one thing that I go through a list here. I'm not going to get into that now, but just to point out that in Bulawayo here, every city you go to, or most cities that you go to in the world, there's something called a red bus tour. Anybody ever heard of a red bus tour? This tour is a tour that takes you to all the important sites of the city. So you actually pay. I think the last one that I saw was about 50 US. You pay just to go around, just to be shown Lapa Exchange Building, Lapa High Court, Lapa is this building, and so on and so on. The old Bulawayo, it just takes you around. These are some of the gems, the opportunities that are available in our city that entrepreneurs can take up. We have a lot of culture here. We have not figured out, and maybe I should end here so that we get to questions. I think I've got 10 minutes for questions. New industries are not always entirely new. They can be the same thing done in a better way. The same thing done faster. The same thing done cheaper or done in an extraordinary way. Sometimes the business that we're looking for is right under our noses. We're looking for something novel. Something that will be spectacular. But simple things that we already have here in Bulawayo. Like taking people, like connecting all these sites, like organizing the art gallery whilst people are going on this red bus tour, like having traditional foods at some of the stops and so on, and all of a sudden people are willing to pay 100 US for that as a tourist. Okay, maybe that's overpriced. That's Zimbabwean price. 40 US. Okay. We only have two limitations. Our thinking, and we didn't share any notes prior to this, so our thinking is a big limitation. Now I understand why, because Mr. Jonah told us 95% of the city, if there's 1 million of us, only 5% are thinking. No wonder we have so many challenges. And our teamwork, our ability to connect and converse around our opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, let me end there. I've tried, obviously I didn't pace myself very well, but I trust that you got something that will be of use to you. So thank you very much. I'm going to take just a few questions for 10 minutes.